Segment 11 is live. We're here, right here. We've been here for a little while. I'm not sure if my legs even work anymore. Uh, Maybe they do. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm here with another one of our great partners, and she's basically going to take over the show for the next 2 hours. Sarah, uh, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing, because what you guys are doing is so unique. It's really kind of cool. Why don't you give us a why don't you let us know what we're doing, and I will disappear so you guys can take over the channel and run with what you got.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you, Zach. For those that have been listening to our broadcast for the last little while, you guys already know what we're doing. But for those that do not, Geister, myself, and our dear friends, Shin and Gray, and a few others, run a video game group where people can come and just vent and be. It's a great little opportunity for those that are interested in gaming to use it as a coping mechanism. Studies have shown that for people with PTSD and people that are dealing with severe depression, anxiety, things like that, video games can be an awesome way to uh, kind of give yourself a different frame of mind for a little while. And when we do our runs, I am mostly the talking head for right now because I don't have a machine that currently runs a lot of the games that we play. But for the rest of us, we just kind of hang out and give each other a place to vent. And if somebody's having a hard time, we can stop the stream, give them the opportunity to, gather their thoughts and have a safe place to have someone to talk to, and when they're ready, we continue. Um, Geister, is there anything that you would like to add to that?
Um, I think the only thing that I want to do is when we signed in here, we need everybody to realize that this is um, the language is not going to be what we've been all day long. So please,
We'll try.
don't, well, no, don't do that on our account. Don't do that on our account. Look, this is real. This is something that's unique. This is for you guys. I want to showcase what you guys are doing because I support what you guys are doing. This is bringing back a modicum of what's missing, right?
Absolutely. That
So,
safe place for people to come and actually vent their frustrations and like if you've had a crappy day at work, come tell us you've had a crappy day at work. If you hate the world today because your coffee was cold, Geister, then feel free to tell us that the world is on fire because your coffee is cold. If you have flashbacks because PTSD freaking sucks, then come, share that as well.
well, Sarah Geister and everyone else who is playing, I'm going to shut my fat mouth, which is probably pleasant for everyone else who has even popped in for the last 18 hours. They're going to go, he's gone. Oh my God, the fat guy's gone. So they're probably sitting there. But this is an exhibition on what they are doing, playing games to prevent soldier and veteran suicide. My name is Zach Clayton. Community Mission to Rescue 22 continues, and for the next hour plus, we're going to be joining these guys as they play along. I'll probably pop in every once in a while, but I'm going to try to stay the hell out of the way because these things confuse the hell out of me. There ain't no way in hell I can do what they're doing. So, but you guys have a lot of fun. I'm going to enjoy watching you guys.
think she's being sarcastic, my sweet friend. I really do. I could be wrong, but I think she's being sarcastic. typography and the maker of things in general. This typography has actually been in museums, and now I aspire to do that. This typography has actually been in museums, and now
I'm
I
blushing.
aspire to do
Seriously. Seriously.
Oh, and now we have seen that, folks.
Yeah.
Where is it coming? Oh,
You
and
know.
now we have seen that, folks.
Yeah.
Where is it?
But as you can see from the fact that we would work together well on the basis. But as you can see from the want to be able to assist the stress together well. I may not have had that kind of. But as you can see from the want to be able to and the stress together well. I may not have had that kind of. Again, doing this through video games is great as long as the stress is fun. It's kind of hard to worry about realism if you're hiring freeze rays, killing space aliens. Worry about realism, or if you're a dwarf killing giant spiders, or even just running around Gotham City. Or last time I checked, giant spiders, or even just running around Gotham City.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it's been proven not just by us, but looking well before that. And that doing that, it's simple working are great ways to help cope. And it's ultimately what our intent is. It's ultimately what our intent is.
Personally, my hope is that someday we can all get together and play board games together. Personally, my hope is that someday we can all get together and play board games together. Personally, my hope is that someday we can all.
Oh, don't worry. Maybe we can get two more people to along with Bravo. Get a raid going, and then watch this guy for people do
Dicer often dies, but he may need extra ammo throughout the game. Dicer often dies, but he may need extra ammo throughout the game.
Now, folks, I need to bring it up here that the reason, Bravo gets such pleasure in my deaths is she, Bravo gets such pleasure in my deaths. She knows a little, when we were back in Afghan, she remembers its instant where we were going and seizing a building and how I busted down the door and stepped into the room to only find there was no floor. And I fell.
He ended up in the basement.
There was no floor. And I fell. Yep.
Only you would find a building.
And I fell.
He thought he was gonna be out like hot shit and take point, and he absolutely should not have.
Yes. Yeah, that was, I would say, a poor decision on mine. But she has never let me live down the fact that I fell 3 stories and ended up in the basement. So when I play games like Deep Rock Galactic and I fall through a hole, she gets the amazing pleasure out of it. When I play games like Deep Rock Galactic and I fall through a hole, she gets the amazing pleasure out of it. She gets the amazing pleasure. So, yeah, we and now one of the things we might show as we're doing this, as we're talking about the show and I'm playing, I know that Shin says we might have to do a mission to help someone, and you'll be able to see that one-on-one as we do that. Help someone, and we really hope that you guys understand what we're doing in full, and hopefully we'll be able to afterwards I will hopefully be able to maybe read parts of my book which I have to really, which Shin actually has to hear, because when I first did this during, talked about my book, I had a really bad Comcast day, and for some reason he thought I was talking about giant spiders and butts. I had a really bad Comcast day, and for some reason he thought I was talking about giant spiders and butts. I had a really bad
How that but that's what it ended up to be.
Yes. So that's definitely how that happened. And so I like that I'm going to be able to, actually read it. And so everyone
Talk about spiders and butts. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Because I know you want to hear about spiders and butts. And not only any spiders, but giant angry spiders.
Giant angry spiders who apparently share your fondness for Bravo's butt. Got it.
Well, everyone likes Bravo's butt, so that's nothing fancy there.
Okay, congratulations! You're now on the record for that.
Oh my goodness. Anyway.
This has now been recorded for posterity. I hope you enjoy that little factoid.
Yes, folks. Being that I'm a dumbass tanker,
You are
sometimes
so lucky that I'm on my old computer. I almost spit my drink on the keyboard.
So yeah. As a Dean, a dumbass tanker, sometimes I say things without really understanding what I'm saying.
Other times he just says it anyway.
He just uses the excuse that he's a dumbass tanker.
Well, the thing is, I keep telling these people, do not expect intelligent things from me. I'm a dumbass, so I'm gonna do stupid things, and they keep looking at me. They're like, "Why did you do such a stupid thing?" I'm like, it's in the name, dumbass tanker. I need things broken down Barney style.
Zach just posted that he sees yellow bunnies, so that must be your channel, guys, sir.
Oh God. Bunnies. I wait a minute. Where's the bunnies? I thought I took the bunnies off. We got the duck. We got the no quack sign. See, that's what I have the no quack sign up.
Now everybody knows about the bunnies.
Yes.
You're forever going to not live it down.
Yes.
Are you neglecting bunnies again?
No, because because for today I had to put the no quack sign up. So we have to say no quacks are going to be allowed during this streaming session because we want people to get real help and not hear bad information from quacks.
I suppose the bunnies will allow that.
Yes. I got Bugs
Bunny. I think the bunnies really, really like Ghoster, and they made their way on there anyway.
Well, I got Bugs Bunny's permission to do this. Okay, so Bugs Bunny had no problems with me not showing bunnies today because of the content of the show. But the thing is I think as we're showing this is this is to really help people deal with their trauma. And I didn't realize how much this helped me until Bravo went to my counselor with me because one, I tend not to tell the whole truth, or I tell partial truth. So she pretty much wanted me to confess as I'm in front of the Pope. And she mentioned how she saw a radical change in me since I started doing this with Shin. So I'll let Bravo explain it in her own words.
Okay, so for those that don't know Geister, he is extremely introverted. It is very, very hard to get him to talk. It's very hard to get him to speak in general. Like it's just hard to get him to open up, period. And I really noticed that Geister actually was starting to open up more. He was starting to be more personable. He was starting to like actually enjoy things again. I'm like, okay, what's up with that? What's going on with that? What's different? Because I love it. I love that you're like living for life again. What is different? And he's like, I got introduced to video games. Like I'm playing them more than I normally do. Like I'm playing them with people. I'm like, wait a minute, you're peopling? What? Like what happened here? Where is Geister? What did you do with him? Who are you? Um, he's just become a whole lot more happy and open and just I can't explain it. It's difficult to explain. It's night and day, and that difference might not be the same for everyone. They may not have the same experience, but for Geister, just having that little bit of community back and having that camaraderie did amazing things.
You know, so right there, it does work. What we do does work. Um,
Yeah. Now instead of being traumatized by his past, he's now traumatized by half our bad jokes.
oh God, and they are bad, folks.
There are nights that we get on his last nerve, and I will be the first to admit it.
Um, yeah, you know, let let me say I am a work in progress, people. My mental health is still very fragile, and sometimes when people are really trying to joke, my my mind doesn't always interpret jokes all the time, so I tend to get a little bit volatile. Um, and luckily, and the one thing I
So
do
what is so volatile, Geyser? I would just say that you tend to kind of go to a different place.
so the one thing I do appreciate of Shin and Bravo is when I do have an episode or a meltdown, they understand it's not, I'm not doing it on purpose, and that understanding goes a long way. I mean, to be able to to game with other people who understand that if you have a meltdown, they know it's nothing personal. Where if you play with, if we did this with civil, if I just decided to do this with civilians only, um, I wouldn't be able to stay in a team too long because no one would be able to want to deal would be able to deal with me. So I'm truly appreciative of Shin and Bravo for their patience with my eccentricities. Is that the word? Eccentricities. Yeah. I'm a dad.
Eccentricities.
Eccentricities, yes.
Yes. See, I'm a dad.
Also, his mangling of the English language. There's that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm a dad. I keep telling you guys that.
So
So
far, he's been digital audio tape, dynamic Apple transfers. Oh,
There are a lot of things that a lot of folks might think of when they think of that, and Dumbass Tanker is typically not one of them, unless you're familiar with military abbreviations, jargon, and shitposting.
well, or if you play Destiny, it's a dumbass Titan.
Also that.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
or Deep Rock Galactic dwarves are toast.
oh God. Yes. Deep Rock Galactic. That's another game that we play, and that's a 4-man team game. And unlike Destiny, where you see here we have a few blueberries on the radar here, Deep Rock Galactic, you really don't play with blueberries. You can actually set a 4-man team up, and as a 4-man team, you do missions and deep mining things as a team. So it's kind of a different dynamic, but it's for, at least for me, it gives me that dynamic where, okay, it's just me and my fire team. I don't have to worry about blueberries coming in and screwing things up because, many a time me and Shin are doing something and we get a blueberry who just screws things up so bad for us. I think one day we were doing Destiny and we went to go do a nightfall, and we ended up with the most god awful blueberry ever known to man.
What does this button do?
Yeah,
If I point this hole on the gun towards my head, does it magically go shoot?
yeah, yeah. It was that bad, people.
Raid and every time we told him don't press this button yet, and he did because he was like, I want to see what would happen. That happened. We all wiped. That's what happened.
Right.
And without trying to be too insulting towards civilians, a lot of them don't understand the military jargon or certain military situations, and they end up just staring at the veteran like this. The stars in their eyes are like from the hole in the back of their head. They just
I can actually say there are some mental health professionals that do the same thing. I was actually present at one of Geister's sessions with an old counselor, and he was very candid about a situation that was bothering him, and she looked at him like he grew another head.
Oh, you're
So when
talking
you
about
are getting
Marlene? Yeah,
help,
Marlene. Yeah.
yes, I am.
Well, and then now
Um,
contrast it. Tell about your experience with CJ.
Now, contrasting, he had another counselor because obviously we helped him find somebody that was a better fit. And CJ was the kind of guy who would call me and be like, Geister's not telling the whole truth again. What do I do? Or I need you to come back here and pull whatever is bothering Geister out of his butt so we can fix it. Things like that. He was a good counselor.
Yeah. You know, and when he left for medical, that really destroyed me because after I lost him, I literally went through 4 counselors and 4 shrinks from the VA in a matter of a 2-year time span. And you get to some point you're kind of wondering, is it me that's causing them to just leave? Am I that so screwed up that when they hear hear me talk that I traumatize them to quit the practice?
Now we all know from experience that the answer is probably yes, but that's between us. That's between us types. So
Yeah.
We're just giving you crap.
I know. They, and the thing is that, another thing is that one thing we offer is when we try to help veterans who are trying to readjust or they're looking for the best. What I heard, I didn't make up this word. I've actually saw this written. They call it video game therapy. When we're doing this is, we can literally sit here
or
like
if you prefer the technical term, it's ludotherapy.
Yeah. We can sit here and as you can see, we're shit talking each other and we're getting all through it. But yet we're still doing the mission where I've been in teams with civilians and you try doing that and it just ends ugly. Because it just they just can't understand the dynamic of when you say to someone, hey, fuck you, now kill that monster. I mean, I can't tell you how many times
we can easily say to one another, like, and I've said this last week, as a matter of fact, fuck you, take your attitude somewhere else, and we can completely, like, continue on, and we know that we're not, like, mad at one another. We know that we're not trying to be derogatory toward each other. We're just, like, helping one another vent and get through the time.
Yes. And and like another example, like sometimes I'd be like being a typical dat and Shin will go, hey, fuck off, and now kill that that ogre. And I'm like, okay, I'll go kill the ogre. Sometimes I'll do it with a Titan smash. But yes, it's
Other times you'll be contemplating the spelling of the word ogre.
hey,
There are times that happens. I can guarantee that.
listen, I have the memory of a whale shark, so I'm not expected to remember things. And spellings are
Oh, so you're reading that post-it note again. Okay.
yes, I'm reading the post-it note. Yes,
For
I've also
context, folks, sometimes the injuries that vets and those in the military community sustain cause extreme symptoms. And for Geister, one of his anyway is extreme memory loss, and his kind of go-to way to deal with that over the last few years is, oh, I have the memory of a goldfish. And then Shin kindly told him that a whale shark has a worse memory. Goldfish have a better memory than whale sharks. And so he made a post-it note.
yep. So that way, I always will remember I'm a whale shark.
Just keep swimming.
Yes. If I stop swimming, I'll drown. Uh, all right, folks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go to a different part of the map now to just show you about some another different destination. And well, we're gonna take you to Europe, and we're gonna take a little look at Europe here.
Are we going to Europe or are we going to Europa?
Europe. Trossland is in Europe.
Okay.
European dead zone.
You said Europe.
Well, I didn't know if you were going to Europa because then we'd have to be the Pirate Twins.
Oh,
You
God.
indeed said Europe.
Let's see how long it takes him to get that reference.
Oh, God.
You may have to Google it.
Listen. All right.
Does he spell Google correctly?
Okay, guys. Now, I try to explain to them. No, folks, I've said how many times I've said during the show that I'm a dad. They they always seem to forget that. I am not a very intelligent person.
Yes, you are. You have
Dynamic you're a dad. Dynamic escape worms. Got it. Okay.
I mean,
he wants to sit there and say he's not an intelligent person, but he has a freaking doctorate. So there's that.
and how do you know I didn't get it from a Cracker Jack box?
Because I knew you when you wrote your dissertation.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm so smart. I'm like, oh yeah, then why couldn't you figure out how to type?
Yeah.
So,
So yeah.
fair enough.
Right. So literally, is because when it comes to like like I said, the the talent that Shin and Bro have and how they use their past experiences and their amazing skills to cope with it. It's amazing. And like I said, I am that fanboy groupie who hangs around with the rock band, but I can't sing and can't play music or I can't write music. And the truth behind that is I'm a failed songwriter, so definitely can't write music.
You're not a failed songwriter. You pitched your song to somebody who sucked. And I say that as someone with experience actually writing. The company that he pitched his song to sucks.
Yeah. So the long story made short is my community had a thing going on to help the community, and Empire Records came and they said that they would as part of this, whoever wrote the best song, they would take it on and give it to one of their band groups.
Sorry, I just saw a pun.
And so I submitted mine, and the feedback I got was, now keep in mind, I put a lot of heart and soul in this. I try to tell a story in the song, and basically the response I got was, "Yeah, your song seems a little bit juvenile for your age." That was the response I had. And ever since I got that response, I've never written ever again.
I wonder if
Never
they know
written
most
music
K-pop
again.
by
Okay,
guys who are
music.
older than you.
Never written music again. Yeah.
You should, because the guy probably doesn't know that most sugary J-pop girly stuff is written by guys that are older than you.
Yeah.
So that's taking the magic out of Disney.
Yeah.
You thought it was written by 60-year-old girls?
And the thing is, the whole song was about a person, about two friends, and how they're always there for each other. And I'm sitting there going, how is that juvenile? You think that I thought that was kind of
I
a
know.
universal concept, but Empire Records,
No, you're supposed to talk about getting laid all the time. See, that's
oh, that's what. Yeah, I didn't have
yeah,
that.
that's probably what they were expecting. The song was supposed to be about
Ah,
some references to sex.
and I didn't have
Like,
the gold
I know
chain.
they call it mature,
Yeah.
but it's the most immature people that are into that. So that's kind of a misnomer.
Yeah. So yeah, and plus
She
I didn't
has
have all the gold
good
chains and the
voice,
giant
Jack.
clock around my neck.
Oh, jeez. 90s reference there.
Just
I don't think even Flava Flav wears the clock around his neck anymore.
Taste to taste.
I don't know. It makes me want to go find a current photo
I
to
love
find
that
out.
those comedians make the whole rap scene. Basically, this is Spinal Tap for rap, and it was absolutely hilarious.
but
I was
Especially
a
like
pharmaceutical
recent
distributor.
Instagram photos.
but the one
You
thing
are right. His most recent Instagram photo, there is no giant clock.
okay, tells you how long since I've seen the guy. Uh, but some of it is as we do gaming a lot, I'm gonna bring us back a little bit to writing, folks. It writing is a great way to try. What I think the word is cathartic.
Cathartic.
Yes, thank you. And it's a way
It
to
allows him to talk about more than giant butt spiders.
yes.
How my butt became the topic of that conversation, I have no idea.
Me either. I'm just as lost. Um. So yeah. So
I blame Tom.
yeah. Now the thing about writing is it does give you a way to express things that you normally just can't talk about. And also what it does is it opens you to a very larger community. When I met Jonathan Yanez and he got me involved into the writing community, when I first got involved, I was literally the mouse in the room, and no one paid any attention to me. No one would ever talk to me or took me seriously. And then quite recently, we're talking within the last 2 or 3 months, um, the writing community has now been like associating with me, and and all the and strangely enough, all the
Concept.
say again.
What a concept.
Yeah.
I have to give you kind of crap about that because as much as you say like you're having a little bit of a hard time and having some imposter syndrome and stuff, you are a great person. You have talent. Accept it.
So
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
so we have so I've been actually the authors that have been coming to me are actually veteran writers, people who served, who write military science fiction now. Jeffrey Haskell, Lynn Thomas, as well as Craig Allen, big names that everyone knows that they're now like literally I got friend requests on Facebook and everything, and I was talking to Jonathan about it. And and Bravo was there with me when we had this conversation. And I told him, I said, it's really weird. I said, Jonathan, I said, I haven't been published. I mean, I'm not even finished with a book, and all of a sudden, all these authors are want to associate with me. And he said to me, he goes, he goes, when did that start happening? I'd say about 2 or 3 months ago. I said I started getting all these contacts and stuff. And he said, well, the truth of it is, you know, what did he say? He's been talking about to people about me, and he says, unlike many people, you actually sit there and actually getting it done. And so and I guess when Jonathan told them about how close I am, they they're starting to reach out to me. I mean, Bravo, you were there. Maybe you could explain it better than I can.
Well,
And
frankly,
preferably
that
without the
is
butt spiders.
no butt spiders here. Um, I think that one, they're trying to get to know you as a fellow writer and creative, and I use the word creative again because you need to begin to accept that you are creative. You are not a talentless hack like you would lead people to believe. You actually have talent.
I just
Exactly.
I just can't apply a mask to a simple geometric object.
That's just because you followed a terrible tutorial. Um, but with that said, I also think that they're looking at you like, hey, this guy's got some stuff going on. We better go see what he's doing.
Yeah, and so it came out to that so, and it kind of feels good because now that since I'm meeting with other veterans who are writers, it it kind of helps because I asked them a lot. I said, like right now, my first book is dealing with K4S4, and I'm talking to them with the best. How do I tell this story? Because if I tell it the in the most realistic term, my readers would probably end up throwing up because when I tell them of the atrocities I was forced to observe or deal with. And they've actually helped me with, they're like, well, they personally had to deal with the same thing, and they give me little hints and clues about how you can um, you know do it in such a way that conveys the same meaning but without the same imagery. you know um so that's one thing right there. um because like Jonathan, he comes from a very even though he didn't serve in the military, his family served, and uncle, he understands it. And he's been a very good friend to helping me through this process. And it's there. And I hope you guys are gotten to see the theme here that when it comes to mental health, you got to have the it's friendship that actually makes the difference. It's not being a good Samaritan.
Support systems,
Yeah,
good support systems.
yeah,
It's actually having the conversation. One of the things that is a reoccurring theme with Community Pay It Forward, and Zach especially, is the importance of having that conversation and opening it up. And even if it's, just friends getting together and playing video games and having that moment to decompress, that can make a huge difference. Um, there was a time just a couple of months ago where I had reached pretty much an all time low, besides the time that I was hospitalized. And Geister was the person to be my accountability buddy. every day, checking on me, making sure that I took care of myself because I had gotten to a point where I was like, my kids are the only thing that matters, and I'm just gonna take care of them, and like I don't care, physically or emotionally what happens to myself. And he was like, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of them.
Mhm. Yeah. And that accountability thing. And and to bring that on is that even when Shin sees that I'm off kilter, he will go to Bravo and say, "Hey, I think Geister, my stick his head in an oven," and which then Bravo steps in rather quickly, and usually it starts off with, "Do I have to call the Russian?"
For context, I am 1,000 miles away from Geister right now, and I just had to do it.
895 to be exact.
Yes, he has made the trip several times, so he's well aware of how long it is.
Yes. You can do it in a 14-hour drive. I can definitely confirm that.
Except for if you come through Canada and you're Geister. Geister's
Oh.
banned from Canada.
Okay. Since you brought it up, and I think everyone needs to understand, you have to be able to laugh at things. It's part of healing. The whole fact that they get great pleasure that I'm banned out of 5 countries.
It's sick
And counting. He collects bands like Pokemon.
And the irony of it is I don't even have to do anything and I get banned. I got
He's got that certain je ne sais quoi when it comes to getting banned.
yeah. When I got I just found out from my work that I'm banned from going to Bahrain and Kuwait because I am medically unable to take the COVID vaccine. So they said because you don't have the the three shots, you can't go in country to do your job. And I'm like, okay, and that's bad news to me. How? I get to stay home. So, but the one that Bravo loves the most is actually it's two of them. Is the fact that I somehow got myself banned from Canada, folks.
I still don't understand how he got banned from Canada. I really don't. They're like the
I
next
think he was
country.
trying to steal their strategic maple syrup supply or something.
And if you
No, I made fun of their currency.
That or you throw
He told them that their
or
pretty
you.
rainbow money was monopoly money, and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is a real thing, just FYI.
That or they
I
thought he
mean,
was going to
that
send
could
Justin
be
Bieber back.
true.
I
He
don't know.
is a big fan of maple syrup.
Yeah.
So that may be it. That's
When
maple syrup.
the last time they came to visit me, and I went out there for a bit, he came to get me, and he had to go through Canada. This meant that I had to get permission for him through a friend of mine to make sure that he could enter the country and have them, let him pass like a freaking bridge troll um, without being arrested. And we come back through Canada, and they're like, just leave, just get out of here. No pleasantries, no anything. Just leave.
Yeah. Also, I might point out that your friend also got me my car strip searched.
Yeah, they took apart the whole rental van like he was, somebody from Dr. Evil or I don't know.
Like a drug
Somebody
runner or
very, very
something.
bad.
Yeah, like I'm a drug runner or something. So it's yeah. So there's that band. And then there's the other one with Bravo really enjoys, and I think Shin enjoys this one too, is I'm banned from Saudi Arabia. And and trust me, folks, it's not that hard to get banned from there.
Say everybody else.
When I was in Iraq, I had to support the embassies, and so I had to be a courier for certain diplomatic documents. So I had a diplomatic pouch, and I was going into Saudi Arabia, and the guards were giving me a hard time. They weren't going to let me in the in the country unless I declared my religion. So after about 30 minutes of arguing with them, I just got so frustrated. I turned around and I said, "Well, I'm a Satan worshiper." And so the guy goes, he gets his supervisor, and folks, there's no offense at what I'm going to tell you. No offense at what I'm going to tell you, but this is literally what he said to me in an Arabic accent. He goes, being a Satan worshiper, is that like being a Jew? And I'm like, no. I said, no. He stamped my book and said, get out of my office. So I do my mission.
You're wasting my time. Get out of my office.
Now, I do my mission, and now I had to go back on a second trip for the embassy. And so you have to apply for a visa. They only give you a 30-day visa at a time. So I had to apply for a visa, and Saudi Arabia came back and said, I am banned from the country because I'm a Satan worshiper.
I thought they banned you from the country for being a Jew.
Well, because if I was
ban
Jew,
him from the country because he can't keep his mouth shut.
Well, I'm just happy I'm not a Jew because the religious police would have arrested me.
Probably still be in jail.
Yeah, we won't talk about how I got
No
back.
offense to Jewish people, folks. Not at all, but he's had some interesting experiences, and most of those experiences will be featured in the 3-part series that he's writing.
Yes. We won't talk about my ban in Germany, but I can talk about my French ban. There was a diplomatic meeting going on, and I was there, and the Australian, this French guy was trying to say how the French are so much better than the Australian forces. And I walked up to the French ambassador and I said, well, there's one slight problem in your whole argument. He goes, what? I said, your most powerful army isn't even French. And the Aussie he just lost it. He just completely lost it. And so the ambassador, of course, found out my name. And seriously, 3 days later, I got a letter from the French consulate saying, I am hereby banned from ever entering France.
See, I told you he can't keep his mouth shut.
I tell people it's the Boston in me.
Excuses, sir.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I wonder if your dream job is to get banned from a country before it comes into existence.
Is that possible?
Yes. It is indeed his dream job.
Yes. But I learned I can laugh at it now, which I would think Bravo would tell you about 2 years ago. I probably wouldn't be able to laugh about it.
No. He was in a very different place a couple of years ago, and even a year ago, I don't think that he would have been able to laugh about it the way that he does now. And just having that support system really made a huge difference.
All right, folks. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break from here, and we're going to go up into what's called the tower.
Yeah.
So here we go. Because I got a little bit of notification. As you guys saw, flash notifications here. And like I said, I think Shin said we're going to be helping one of his friends.
Over here and help me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's I lost my train of thought there. God, who
still boarding? Is it still boarding at the station?
I'm pretty
Possibly.
sure.
Possibly. you know, you know, I will not, I will not dispute the fact that it could be boarding. And, you know, so as we're going to the tower, let me bring up here the uh, the readings. Um, and when I bring this up, once the network decides to let me bring it up, Comcast.
They hate you.
I know.
Hate everybody.
Yeah, see,
That I just think that they hate him just a little bit more than most people.
yeah, yeah, they definitely have a boner for me. You know, one of these days I'm expecting to see a package from Comcast, a giant tube of KY.
Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, there's like write that guy's name down. Okay, have our attorneys talk to him.
Yeah, that and like I said, I'm expecting them to send me a giant tube of KY in the mail with the courtesy of Comcast.
And here Deister goes, making it weird.
Okay, guys. So this is a good point. Let me, read you the line that a lot of the jokes have been coming from. It's from my book. It's from the very first page. Um, so this is what got Bravo hooked on the book. This one paragraph I'm going to be reading. So it is starts off with the location, Planet Mojave, Box Canyon Plateau, Firebase Atreides. Time is 0925 hours, local planetary time, CY 2022. Okay, now we go. Now you are asking yourself, how the fuck did I end up in the ass end of the galaxy on a dust ball planet on a plateau in a box cannon preparing to take on a battalion of some very angry spiders? To be honest, I'm asking myself the very same question. However, to understand all this, you need to understand everything that got me here in the first place. Now, when I tell you, now I'll tell you all this. For starters, you need to understand I'm a dad, a dumbass tanker. So some of this will sound Barney style, but bear with me. My story begins back in the late 20th century. So that was the chapter that all the butts and spider jokes have been coming from. And and this is the one that got Bravo hooked into my storyline, where she actually said that, "Gee, I know how to write." So, and of course, it also
They should start writing a few years ago, just in a journal. I wanted him to write 1 or 2 sentences a day, whether it was something that he was thankful for, something he was grateful for, something that happened during the day. And I didn't think that it would turn into this. I am super, super proud of him, more than he probably knows, for taking the steps to tell his story. Because I firmly believe that if we care about something deeply enough, and if we have the experience to share, no matter where our experience comes from, telling our story could be the key that unlocks that moment for someone else, where they realize that they're not alone, that they're not, the only ones that might be feeling a certain way. How I even got started hanging out with this group of folks is Jaster and I were talking one night, and he said, "You know what? I'm hanging out at my Gamester. If you want to come and hang out with us, and continue talking to me, you're more than welcome to do that." And a couple of days later, he took a Twitter poll to see if people wanted me back, and here I am.
Yeah.
But my ultimate point in sharing that was that there are multiple ways to vent things, whether it's a notebook or a post-it note or, you know, I don't know, making recordings of yourself. And there are multiple ways to vent things. As long as you take that first step, you're going to do well.
Yeah. you know, um, and of course, also, the my writing has also given Shin here a bunch of things to comment about, especially his thing about giant spiders and butts.
Well, to his credit, he was listening, and um, there was a point in time that Dexter's connection was really bad, so all he could hear was butt crackle noises and giant spiders.
Yes. But as you can see from my writing, when I first wrote that line, and those of you who serve probably understand exactly what I'm saying, what I was saying in that paragraph, because everyone who served has been in that situation. Um, and so I was when I was writing that, I remember Bravo calling me up and saying, "Did you actually write this?" I'm like,
I
"Yeah."
did. I asked him if he wrote it or if he had somebody write it for him.
I'm like, "Yeah, I wrote it. It all came from one of my many voices in my head." You know.
the,
Um,
can I share about that, Geister? Just to let people know that they may
yes,
not be alone in that.
yeah, yeah. You can share. Definitely share.
I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable situation. That's why I asked
No
before I
problem.
go.
Share along. I'm here for the benefit of all veterans.
Geister suffers from actually hearing multiple personas of himself. He has dealt with the trauma and all the stuff. Um, I'm trying to use clean language because I promised Zach that I would do my best. Um, all of the lovely things that can come along with complex PTSD. Um, complex PTSD is a little bit different from the PTSD that most people are familiar with. It's a little bit more involved. Um, but he literally, in order to cope, has disassociated and experienced points where his personality has split, and he's now working with his therapist and um, other specialty team members to help him uh, find Geister, if you will, because he sometimes has a hard time remembering who he is and who the other personas are. And the reason that I'm sharing that isn't to shame or embarrass or anything like that. I wanted to take that moment and let some folks know who might be dealing with things like that it's a common problem amongst those that deal with complex PTSD. And you're not crazy, you're not wacky, you don't need to go do something crazy. It's treatable, and um, you're not alone.
Yeah. And there is also a tangible benefit. You know, with all the voices in your head, you're definitely not alone at night. You know,
There's that, I guess.
yeah. But I have no idea which one of my voices write the book. I can't help you there. Sorry, folks. You know, obviously it's one of my personas that actually knows how to write and speak English properly. So
You've gotten to the point where you can laugh about a lot of things that a few years ago you would have never been able to. You were so locked up within yourself that you just kind of went about life on autopilot. I mean, you were still a very loving person. You still gave your all to your family and your few friends, but you were not a happy person.
oh.
And I am so incredibly, incredibly happy for you that you've come as far as you have.
Yes, but people don't construe the fact that I'm happy. You know, don't believe it for
You will never admit that.
Yeah, don't believe for an instant I'm a nice guy either. That's all lies. I'm an evil person.
That may be true, but he is an evil person who sends my children gifts on holidays, and they look forward to it so much that every time I'm on a stream, hi, can I say hi to Uncle Ghoster? Hey, are you talking to Uncle Ghoster? Can I talk to Uncle Ghoster? They don't give a crap about me. They just want to talk to him. And I spend some evenings with both Shin and Gray as well. And they're like, hey, can I talk to Mr. Shin?
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, it's yeah, you know, see basically, what it comes down to, folks, out of the trio of Bravo, Shin, Cornut, actually the quadruple of Gray, Shin, Bravo, and Cornut.
You keep screwing up the numbers. Just say the group.
The group. You know,
Are you sure math is his strong suit?
I am the Jar Jar Binks of the group. I have come comfortable with that. I am the Jar Jar Binks of the group. So yeah, you know.
Don't put off.
Hi, Gray.
I am glad.
Yeah.
See, I told you. He wants to know if you're playing games. The uncle asked you playing games. He's playing Destiny 2.
So, Shin, you feel like doing some strikes?
Sure, we can do some strikes.
All right.
Mommy,
You like doing some strikes?
I like strikes. Strikes are good.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Strikes.
We
Alex,
got
the little man,
iron,
he will ever
heavyweight, and soul
Minecraft
sync.
with
Okay.
I will not play Minecraft
So,
that's right. We Minecraft is for daytime. That's right.
yeah. So, folks, the thing is you got to find some way to let it out. For Bravo, Shin, and Gray, it's their art. They use that to express themselves. And they do an amazing job. For me, you could argue, one could argue it's my writing, which will probably end up being used as toilet paper after I'm done with it by whoever buys it.
That'd be kind of hard if they buy an ebook.
Well, they might have a virtual toilet. If they live,
What did I?
if they're in
Did
if
he
they're
just
in
say people have virtual toilets?
I'm just saying, if they're in Zuckerberg's Meta world, he tells us on this virtual thing.
You mean the Sims?
Hey,
I don't know. That
he's
irritates
talking about
me.
the
So,
he's talking about the metaverse, a new thing you can be banned from.
sweet. I can join him. Apparently, Mr. Zuckerberg belongs to PETA because he hates the fact that I said that I wanted to flame throw a spider.
Oh, well, okay, folks. When it comes to spiders, I am one of the firm people that believes using a tactical nuke to kill a spider in the house is perfectly justified.
Yes, and I literally said this and I got banned.
That's just a new.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shin.
No worries.
I mean, he didn't.
Gray and I were talking about spiders earlier. And I'm like, she can come over and kill all the spiders. She can just take them with her.
Yeah, in Kosovo, he emptied
Yeah.
an entire clip of his sidearm into
Now,
a.
for those of you who don't understand, people
Can't
like
blame
me
him.
and Bravo who went to the sandbox, we encountered a very nasty indigenous species called the camel spider. And if you
Ah,
It's
just,
yeah.
almost like an actual spider.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna say this.
may not be, but still, regardless, it is just something that you swear to God that Ridley Scott never even thought of when he made the movie Aliens, and he hired Geiger for the monster creations.
Just for reference, folks, if you ever want to know what they actually look like, you can Google like soldier running from camel spider on YouTube, and you will see guys that are not afraid to die running like little babies away from these
I mean,
creatures that are the gatekeepers of hell.
Yes, they are the gatekeepers of hell, and you know I am definitely one person who justified the use of unloading a Marduce on a flock of those things.
everyone who knows says entirely
Hey,
justified.
don't worry. While I was in
That's
Bosnia during
100%.
weapons training, I opened up a full clip on a tarantula.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
justified.
I was trying to tell him
That's
about it.
justified.
Completely justified.
Actually, I think his your XO said justified, didn't he?
No, it was the range master who said it was
Oh,
justified.
okay, yeah. They said, yeah, that's understandable.
I love it.
Yeah, So yeah,
I
spiders.
love animals. I specialize in sustainable design, but I really, 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 really dislike spiders.
Yeah, you know. And I know there's people out there. Well, spiders do a lot of good. They eat all these bugs. We have those spiders. Well, yes, okay.
I didn't say that they didn't have their place. I just don't like it when they bite me and evil things happen.
I just,
Well, I look at it this way: they can have their place. They can have their place as far away from you as possible. It's not a
exactly,
problem.
exactly. If you're outside, I won't bother you. You come into my castle, I'm gonna kill you. I don't care how cute or small you are dead.
They stay out of sight. He doesn't kill them.
I mean,
I understand this.
I mean, people could actually argue that spiders in themselves can cause PTSD, especially when you see all the nasty ones that are out there. Like,
Oh goodness, yeah.
like for example, where Bravo lives, they have what's called a Michigan wolf spider, which you just can't kill it. You have to burn it so to make sure that its egg sac doesn't rupture.
Yes, the lovely guy from the bug extermination company advised that I put hairspray on it and burn it.
Yep. Yeah.
For
So
reference, this was ginormous.
yeah, it's they are, wolf spiders are nasty. They're about the size of a like they're sort of like the Michigan version of a tarantula.
Okay, so they're a
Maybe a
little
little
bit like East
smaller,
Coast.
but
East Coast ones are like all chill. Well, as I was telling Mike Bravo earlier, that the ones around here, um, as terrifying as they are inside in terms of size and what they look like, they're actually kind of when you come across them and you startle them. Now, typically they'll run away, but if they're cornered, but they that you don't see, they will actually try to shrink themselves. So, Matt, picture this big ass spider trying to make it so inconspicuous as possible. Because they have a healthy sense of respect. They're like, they may look huge to us, but I mean we're giants to them, and they know it. So they're like, I'm not here. If they'll draw their legs in and try to look small. I'm just like laughing. You're not fooling anybody.
Except if it's an Australian cobbleweld spider. It is the only spider in the world that will actually hunt people. And
Actually, not true. The Brazilian banana spider does too.
oh, it does.
forget
Okay,
that.
so sorry, folks. My Mutual of Omaha experience is a little bit dated, but so we have two spiders here, but you notice they are in the most miserable places in the world. One being Australia, where everything down there can kill you. It's like, how did anybody choose to live in Australia when when everything there is?
It was a penal colony. That should explain a few things.
Good point. Good point. you know, um, yeah, cobbleweld spiders, they are no joke, and Australia has 64 varieties of cobblewed spiders.
Oh
Uh,
dear.
and it's a spider that actually hisses. I was watching the documentary, and the
Oh dear.
exterminator goes into a hotel to clear it out, and there was a giant cobblewed spider in the bathroom, and as soon as he opened the door, it started hissing and charging after him. This was all caught on film, and I'm like,
Holy cow.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I don't care how much you're paying me, I am not gonna
Like the
waste.
hotel is yours now. Screw
Yeah,
that.
I mean, okay, at that point, it's time to call in the Starship Troopers and just have them, do their thing.
My
You know,
heart.
you know, get Michael Ironside out here, have him kill the bug.
No, you haven't been writing today at all, have you?
Well, I can't write until the stuff gets back from the editor, so I have to wait until he
That's
gives,
true.
you know.
You can actually write.
But yeah, folks, there's a lot of, as much as my book is set in a sci-fi world, there is a lot of very truthful content in it. And those who've served, you will know exactly what I'm talking about when you read it. Just from the first paragraph, you guys probably knew right off the bat what I was talking about. So, it is. So that's what happens when I let the voices in my head just loose.
Most people can jokingly say
Now you
that.
know
Geister is completely serious.
people in your head. You start charging rent. You live here. You have to work.
Yeah, exactly.
No one rides for free.
Yeah, you know, and let's see, how. No, I think what at latest count I have about 4 in my head, depending on and there it's just basically it just depends on my what role I'm in. There's one of the voices in my head just doesn't really come out anymore because I'm no longer in that role, but he always hangs in the background, sort of like the two old men in the Muppet Show that sit in the balcony. There's some comment.
And the critics. That's one of my favorite characters. I think everyone actually, even if they didn't admit those guys were their favorites, they were
Yeah.
hecklers. There we go.
Yes, the hecklers. Yes. Yeah, good thing we don't have a hecklefish. We don't have a hecklefish, so you don't have to worry about that, folks. Um, oh wait a minute. So yeah, it has been very interesting and how I deal with things. Um, I'm definitely. I mean, seriously, I think they write. They're one of the guys is actually going to use me as a case study. Um, but yeah,
I'm
definitely.
curious, Jason, since
Hmm.
we're talking about like um the difference, being pretty much night and day for you. How do you think that you would be handling your depression and personality split and things like that had you not chosen to get help?
Probably still be in a bottle. Probably doing instead of a fifth a month, 1/5 a month, probably 2/5 a month. You know, and folks, no, and before you guys ask, no, I did not have a choice in seeking help. Uh, it was, definitely, uh, how do they call it? Uh, voluntold.
You had a very strict intervention.
Yes. Yes. And of course, you got to keep in mind, folks, being deployed 4 times does that to people. Uh, you know, and plus now, the benefit is now that I'm a GS and people start asking me things, I can always tell them that say to them, they're talking to the wrong voice. They have to come back later.
I guess there are perks to that.
Yes. And the biggest kick Bravo
That's
gets.
the voice is not in the office.
Yeah.
My other voices are in the office. They'll have to come back.
Yeah. And the one thing that Bravo loves in the book, because she knows me so well, is
Voice labor laws.
Yeah. Is my coffee intake.
My coffee
The
intake
lead
is yes.
character in this book is extremely, extremely, extremely hooked on caffeine.
Okay, so he's basically me. My answer to caffeine intake is yes.
Yes. Yes.
Well, the difference is that you probably have, when to stop. Dexter, on the other hand, his doctor actually literally said, and I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't hear it with my own ears, your caffeine level is higher than the amount of blood in your body.
Isn't that normal? I mean, it's my caffeine stream, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's blood stream.
That was pretty much what he said.
I
you need to reduce that
you're gonna love this one. I turned around, I said to him, I said, well, didn't you know I live on hate and caffeine? And the doctor did not appreciate that.
Just gonna have to subsist on pure
You're right,
hate.
Mr. Dexter, you need to get the hell out of my office.
Yes, get out of my office.
Here are your prescriptions. Get out of my office.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I am definitely the one person doctors don't like seeing. And case being point, I went through 4 of them in 2 years.
I don't think that that's a reflection on you. I think it's a reflection on how bad the healthcare system is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
In all seriousness, did you guys know how many veterans go without eating a day?
Last statistic I saw was 1,500.
I'm just going to be straight to the point and say too many.
Yeah.
Exactly. Way too many. suicide is definitely a topic that needs to be talked about, but I think in general, mental health, like as a whole, that conversation really needs to be had. So many people are like, "Oh, I don't want to." Suicide is such a macabre topic. They don't want to touch it. But the fact of the matter is that if we don't start the conversation, that number's only going to go up.
Yeah. And folks, I understand. If you're listening and you are, the people we're trying to help, and the stereotype, the and I get it. I mean, when I became a civilian, a GS, after my active duty service, they I had to disclose, to my government agency, hey, I suffer from PTSD, and I'm a suicide survivor, and um, you know they people will treat you differently, and it's not right. I'm not condoning it, but that people did treat me differently, and they always walk on eggshells around me. Um, and I understand how people feel, but do not believe that that is the the mainstream. You know, don't let the fear of the stigma stop you from getting the help you deserve. That's really important. You know, because I look at people and I'm like, okay, well, because then again, I'm a kind of a jaded person. The fact that the way they treat me, the way they do, is like, okay, I don't have to talk to people, so I'm good. I can sit in my office and not worry about anyone knocking on my door. you know, so yeah, it is very good on that point. All right, bro, I'm doing too much talking. It's time for you to do all the talking now.
Wait, you can't do that because this actually gets you to speak.
Right. We're working on that, remember?
You don't think that we didn't do this on purpose, did you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was on purpose.
Guess what?
See, folks, this is what I tell you: coerced intervention.
I may have said that there were perks to you helping me out with that.
Yeah. Well, okay. If Since they opened the door here, and I spoke about it earlier, I might as well just bring out the ugly elephant in the room. And no, I'm not talking about my actual looks. I'm more of an ugly rhino. Uh,
Oh,
Please don't tell me you're going to start singing.
no, I'm not going to
We
sing.
don't want to scare people away.
No, I don't sing. Um, because like I said, that is definitely a talent I do not have. And like I said, when I'm with the group, and it's like I have a real big inferiority complex on a lot of things. And for simple things like, for example, what takes Gray, Shin, and Bravo maybe an hour to do can take me up to things like 16 hours, 8 hours.
I understand, right. Tutorial. It
I
wouldn't take you 16 hours if you searched for the right thing.
but it's just when you're dealing
Or
with
you just ask for help. Gosh darn it.
when you have very talented people like them around, and you're kind of like, they're published, they are, known in the industry far and wide. Um, you know, Bravo, she actually has a Twitter following now that I found out. Uh,
You?
yes, remember I told you that every time I get higher impressions when I say that I'm going to be joining. You're going to be joining me on a stream.
You did say that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. So she's a Twitter idol. Uh, and then you kind of look at me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm the Jar Jar Binks here. Nobody likes me. Um, So it's
See,
like,
I like you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Well, technically, for this thing, if I didn't like you, you wouldn't be here. But
no.
for the group, I'm pretty sure if I didn't like you, if people like you in general, you wouldn't be there either.
Trust us, we like you. Besides, you owe us money.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it came down to. I thought it's because I owe you guys money.
Okay.
Oh,
You can't kill the cash cow.
for reference, folks, I told him he didn't have to pay me, and he insisted. So there's that. I just
Okay.
want that known. How did he
Yeah. It's kind of an honor thing, folks, because uh, I will truly believe that the experience and the knowledge that Bravo and Shin do, they need to be compensated for their time. And you'll often hear them say that they send people this video called "Fuck You, Pay Me," and it because people try to
Yes.
take advantage of them. And so when I started my actually two things here, my personal company server got hacked and got taken offline, and I started up a publishing company to support my writing. And so I hired, I asked, Bravo if she wouldn't mind being my artist for the book, and she said yes. And so I, felt that, hey, if she's going to dedicate a lot of time on me, I need to compensate for her time. So I truly believed in paying her. And it wasn't a surprise. I actually asked her. I said, how much you charge, and she told me, and and that's what I provided for her, because I truly believe that she needs to be compensated for her talent and abilities. And I don't want to be one of those people who say, wants, a $30,000 branding for 15 bucks. Uh, I really despise those people. And then Shin knew me a little bit longer, and he basically said, yeah, I'll help you with your two companies, but you have to accept my discount. I did not have a choice. Because
Going to jam it down your throat.
yeah, but it's mainly to I really would feel guilty if I didn't compensate them for their experience and talent. Um, whether some could argue it's an honor thing with me. I think it's more has to do more with respecting your friends and respecting the work they do versus more of just being a thing of honor. But yeah, you know, so it's so when you deal with these things, it's sort of like that. I have a very big inferiority complex when I socialize with them, because I know that I am just a pale shadow image compared to them on
It,
what the talent and the stuff they do for the community and society. I mean, Shin here, the font.
was not inferior to us. You will have a published book in very, very short amount of time. So,
Yeah. But until that happens, like for example, the font
oh,
god.
come on.
Until the font, so we have the font god here. He is actually. We found out that his fonts are actually on sites. He's well known for it now. I mean, it's just
He's
you know,
in a museum.
you know
So he's pretty freaking good at that.
exactly, exactly. So I mean, uh, they are, so it's like I said, it's so now keep in mind, you guys are probably saying that I always feel like no. When I was in uniform, I never felt like that when I was in uniform because I knew I had my place. I had my skill sets. I knew I was damn good in what I did. And I have the awards to prove it. Um, it's more of when I became was forced to become a civilian. That's when my whole identity, my whole purpose, my whole, what I'm good at is, kind of left because, um, I'm really not good at anything, really. I mean, I told this, I told this to Bravo,
Listen.
I told this to Bravo that, when I was in the military, I was only good for one thing, and that was killing people, and I did it really good. My tank has 5 turret rings, to prove that I was that good. Um, and so that's what that's one of my things I'm still trying to learn to cope with is overcoming that belief or stigma, or I don't know what you would call it, delusion. I don't know.
I think what it is that when you are in a situation such as the military provides where you have that camaraderie, you have the team, and you are trained that everyone uh, is an important part of that team. When you make the transition from military to civilian life, you automatically have like you have to find yourself again. You have to find the season that you're in. And while you are having a little bit of a hard time, um, transitioning and accepting that you are no longer lieutenant colonel that everyone comes to for X, Y, and Z, you are still an amazing person. You are father above all else, friend, tech guy, like one of the most well versed and techni- technologically talented people at your job. You are one of only, what is it, 3 people now
When I
that
yeah,
have your skill set. So there are all of those things. You just need to work on finding your identity now and building who you are because you literally grew up in the military. You you became of age in the military. You're
Mike is there. We go. How about now? I don't know exactly what to say about that because I'm not much of a gamer, but I do like the way that their banter. It was a little bit like when Rich and I were talking an hour or 2 hours ago, when we brought it up that it's okay to look at somebody if you know that they can handle it, and you can go, hey, ha 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 ha, and that's all fine and good, and there was a lot of that in that banter, and the stories that were coming out they were special, and that they were special because they were special to each other, and they were able to joke around, and they were also able to take and work off of it. Well, guess what? It's here. 11th segment is done. 1 hour to go. Please join me back here in about 2 minutes. Again, if Facebook's going to work, we're going to be right here. If not, well, we're going to be wherever the hell we're at. So stupid Facebook not working, dumb things. But anyway, one last hour to go. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for being with us today.